One day I read that the Audi Quattro Club was going to host an event at Lime Rock. I believe it was 1991. I said, man, I've got to go to that.
I actually just remember walking into New Hampshire after having watched races, and I was standing in the paddock with this club of guys I didn't know, guys and girls, and it was exciting but intimidating all at once, you know, and it was just very intense.
My father bought a '79 911, which he still owns, back in 1984, and just always had an affinity and passion for it. And then my dad invited me to go to one of these high-speed events.
It was a dream come true for me. I felt like I was home. You know, it's just, I just got in the car and I got on the track, and you know, it's safe. You know, there's people out there to help you, and you just sort of get it out of you. One of the things that's helped me in this club is I rarely get speeding tickets anymore because I don't speed on the road, I speed in the track.
It's been a really great experience for me. It's changed my life in a way, you know, which seems sort of silly to say for a hobby, but it's become part of who I am.
Performance driving is all about not what you're doing on a straightaway or how fast you're going, but how you handle a car and the shift of momentum and weight within the car and how you predict where that's going to be. And if you go out and you rush for speed, you don't get the feeling for the car. So you can't chase speed, you've got to let it come to you. And the only way you can do that is just you're extremely smooth. Because the smoother you are and that lighter touch on the wheel, the more you can feel the feedback of what the car does.
Well, the best part of what you're doing here is you're pushing your car in a controlled environment near its limit. We do some exercises where literally you're braking really hard and your ABS come on, or you're changing lanes very quickly. So you just know your car a lot better. So if you're in an adverse situation, you'll know how your car is going to behave. And again, that's something you just can't learn at slow speeds.
So many people never practice stopping hard or braking in snow. Their first practice is when it's a problem and they have an accident. And this really helps you not get into those situations nearly as easily because you have experience.
I think it's taught me to really execute everything, you know, correctly. And it's funny because I'm also a musician. There's a lot in common between performance driving and musical performance. You know, the word is not a coincidence.
I like nothing better than seeing guys get out of the car and they meet up with their buddies in the paddock, and everybody's just got smiles from ear to ear, and they're talking about, well, did you do this? Did you see that? Or you know, it's just a lot of fun, you know, a lot of great friendships develop out of that.
For me, it evolved into being able to help people instruct, which I really enjoy, but also the group, the club, these people that I've met, the camaraderie, almost a family.
Part of the reason why I do this is the joy that you see in somebody who has just discovered that there's this whole new thing to driving that they never knew about. Their eyes open up and they essentially glow for 2 days, and that's a really special thing to be a part of.
We're all here to have fun. We're all here to volunteer. This is a nonprofit group that we run, and you know, it's really this attitude of let's all share this passion that very few people understand in a way that is amazingly open and generous.
showed up at my second track event, I was wondering, is there some way my son can possibly participate in this at all? The next thing I knew, the chief instructor, Steve Early, had him out on the track for a guest ride. And it just blew me away that here's this club that I ask a question, and the next thing I know, my son's in with the chief instructor, going around in my shiny new Audi S4. It's really awesome that they would do that and make us feel so included.
Here's a great case in point. My father had an issue with a 20-year-old car, didn't start. Somebody else took his car off his trailer, drove him 200 miles when my dad followed him in his race car, his precious race car, on the street. I mean, it was street legal, just because. And the guy's like, can I pay you? You know, this would have cost me $1,000 to have this flatbed. He's like, no. Just didn't know my dad, just came up and volunteered.
When I left after that third day, I thought to myself, you know, I don't think I was competent just to drive down the highway before. And I believe a lot of people, when they leave their first event, they realize how little they knew about driving and how much more they need to learn.
There's a lot of things you can do if you just take that first step, if you just move towards it. And we've had a lot of people come through the club that went on to race because they really got the bug, they enjoyed it, they came up through the groups, became instructors, still instruct with us.
And you know, the truth is that it doesn't stop. You learn and you move your limits up and up and up, and there's always, you know, more to learn and always more to do. So like just keeping that attitude is, I think, the most important part.